So we're going to be looking at Edexcel Foundation Paper 2, 2019. This is a calculator paper, so as I'm going through each of the questions, I'm going to be showing you how I use my calculator to answer each of the questions. So the first question, write 31% as a fraction. Write 31% as a fraction. So 31% means out of 100. So it's 31 over 100. You would normally be expected to cancel down. However, 31 is a prime number, so you cannot cancel it down. Change 3 meters into centimeters. You need to know what the conversion is from meters to centimeters. 100 centimeters is equal to 1 meter. I need to change 3 meters, so I'm going to write it directly underneath the 1 meter. From 1 to 3, I'm multiplying by 3. So I would need to multiply 100 by 3 as well. So it would be 300 centimeters, which I'm going to write in the answer line. Third question, write the following numbers in order of size. I normally tell my students to write this down vertically. So I'm going to write it down vertically: 1.02, 0.12, 1.20, and 0.21. Just going to rub that one off. Write it again properly. Okay, so in order of size, starting with the smallest number. So I'm looking at, I'm going to look at the unit numbers. We've got 1010, so it's clear that these two are the smallest numbers. So I need to look at them separately: 0.12, 0.21. The first digit are both zeros, that doesn't help me. The second digit, we've got 1 and a 2, so it's clear that this is the smallest number. So I'm just going to label it 1, and then this is the second smallest, 2. So now I'm left with 1.02 and 1.20. So I'm going to write those down here as well: 1.02, 1.20. My first digit are both 1s, that doesn't help me. The second digit, I've got 0 and 2, so this would be the third smallest, and this would be the largest. So I'm going to write those down on the answer line: 0.12, 0.21, 1.02, 1.20. Simplify m plus m plus m plus m. So I can write this again as 1m plus 1m plus 1m plus 1m. So altogether, how many m's do I have? I've got 4m. The diagram shows a rectangle. On the centimeter grid below, draw an accurate scale drawing of this triangle. Use a scale of 1 centimeter to represent 5 meters. So I'm going to look at what the measurements that I have on this diagram here. So it says 1 centimeter is equal to 5 meters. This is 35 meters. So from 5 to 35, I need to multiply by 7. So multiply this by 7. So I would show 7 centimeters for the length. Then I'm going to go again for the width. I've got 20 meters for the width. From 5 to 20, I'm multiplying by 4. So I need to multiply this by 4. So the width would be 4 centimeters, a scale drawing that I'm going to draw here. So I need to draw a 7 by 4 rectangle. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then by 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So my rectangle will end up here. So you would use a ruler to complete this drawing on your exam paper. So I'm just going to label it as well: 4 centimeters, 7 centimeters. Here is a list of whole numbers from 21 to 30. From the list, write down a square number. So to generate square numbers, you need to do 1 times 1 is equal to 1, 2 times 2 is equal to 4, 3 times 3 is equal to 9, or times 4 is equal to 16, and so on. Let me do one more. 5 times 5 is equal to 25. So I can see 25 is a square number. I don't have any other square numbers here. 6 times 6 is 36. So that's the only square number there. So 25 is a square number. From the list, write down a multiple of 8. To generate multiples of 8, you need to write down the 8 times tables. If you're not sure, then you start with 8 and then you add 8 each time. So 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48. So let's see, I've gone too far there because the biggest number there is 30 anyway. So 24 from my list is between 21 and 30. So 24 is my multiple of 8. A baker has 3 bags of flour, A, B, and C. Bag A and bag B contain the same amount of flour. Bag C contains 940 grams of flour. In the 3 bags, there is a total of 2,500 grams of flour. So you would use your calculator to do this calculation. So you would need to work out 2,500, take away 940. Which is 1560. So 1560 is left to share between bag A and bag B, which contain the same amount. So I need to do 1560 divided by 2. So that answer saved in memory. 1560 divided by 2. So bag A and bag C contain 780 grams of flour. Five students throw a dice. They each throw the dice the same number of times. The diagram gives information about the number of times the dice lands on each number. Dice 1, it lands 6 times. Dice 2 lands 4 times. Dice 3 lands 5 times. Dice 4 lands 8 times. Dice 5 lands 7 times. And dice 6 lands 5 times. Work out how many times each student throws the dice. So it essentially wants us to work out the total frequency. So you're going to add that with your calculator. So dice 1 lands 6 times. Dice 2 lands 4 times. Dice 3 lands 5 times. Dice 4 lands 8 times. Dice 5 lands 7 times. And dice 6 lands 5 times. So 35 times in total. Alec needs to work out the value of 2 plus 3 times 4. 2 plus 3 is equal to 5, and 5 times 4 is equal to 20. So 2 plus 3 times 4 is equal to 20. Alec is wrong, explain why. So the exam question is already telling you that Alec is wrong. So don't try and justify why Alex is right. It says Alex is wrong. So the onus is on you to then show why Alex is wrong. And this is because of midmass. You need to multiply first before you add. So this is what he should have done, or she should have done. 3 multiplied by 4 is 12, and then add 2, which is 14. Okay. Right, 17 as a fraction of 30. 17 as a fraction of 30 is 17 over 30. 17 is a prime number, so I cannot simplify that any further. So that would be your final answer. Reflect shape A in the mirror line. So you have this shape, and we're going to look at each of the vertex. So the vertex is the corner of each of the shape. So from this vertex to the mirror line is 2 squares. So I'm going to count 2 squares from the mirror line and mark where that vertex has ended up. Then we're going to go to this vertex. This is 3 squares from this vertex to the mirror line. So we're going to count 3 squares down and mark it. Then the last vertex that we need to do now is this one at the top, which is 4 squares down to the mirror line. So I'm going to count 4 squares and mark it there. So I've completed all 3 vertices of my triangle. And then with a ruler, I realize I'm not using a ruler because I can't on this thing, but with a ruler, you should then join your shape. And then, yep, that's it. Work out square root of 13.82 divided by 4.06. Write down all the figures on your calculator display. So you're going to use the square root button. You're going to use the bracket and then your fraction. So 13.82 divided by 4.06. Then I'm going to close the bracket, so it's square rooted everything there. And this is the final answer, which you're going to write on the, you need to write down all the figures on your calculator display. So write 1.844977 205. Give your answer to part A to 2 decimal places. So I'm gonna write it out here again. Just the first few digits. I need to put a line through here. So it will start with 1 point something. So will it be 84 or 85? And this digit here determines whether you change this 4 to a 5. So you're essentially saying that 1.84497 is closer to 1.84 than it is to 1.85, because if this digit here is 5 or more, then you would round up. RST is a straight line. Work out the value of x. So angles on a straight line add up to 180. So you would need to type in 75 and 84 in your calculator. Type in 75 and 84 to add the 2 angles that you already have, which is 159. Take it away from 180, which is 21. 75 add 84 is 159. 180 take away 159 equals 21. You must show your working because this is a 2-mark question. So show what you've done to get the 21 answer. Give a reason for your answer. Angles on a straight line add up to 180. Nazima uses this graph to find out how much money she is paid for the number of hours she has worked. How much money is Nazima paid for each hour she works? So you're going to look at 1 hour, which is here. So draw a straight line on here, and then you're going to go across to work out. So draw a straight line. I'm just going to do that again. I know I'm not using a ruler, but you definitely should use a ruler when you're doing this on your exam paper, because it allows you to be more accurate. So, okay, so let's count from here. This is 10, this is 20. So halfway is 15. So let me check the squares as well. So 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Yeah, 10, 12, 14. So this is £14. 14 or £15 would get you the mark. I'm going to put £14. Last week, Nazima worked for 36 hours. How much was she paid? So you would need to go back to the graph. So 36 hours. So there is no 36 hours on this graph. However, we can use 4 hours and then extrapolate it to 36 hours. So when it's 4 hours, so using your ruler, draw a straight line down to 4. So draw a straight line down to 4 and then go across to 60 to show how you have worked it out. So if she worked 4 hours, she would get £60. So I'm going to write that down here as your starting point. So 4 hours, according to the graph, equates to £60. So 36 hours, from 4 to 36, you are multiplying by 9. So you would type 60 times 9 in your calculator, which is £540. Write the following fractions in order of size. Start with the smallest fraction. So you would type each of these fractions in your calculator, and then it will help you work out the fractions as decimals, and then you can order them that way. Remember, this is a paper to calculator question, so you can use a calculator to work out what the fractions are in decimals and then order them. You can do 5 divided by 8, which is 0.625. You can do 2 divided by 3, which is 0.6 recurring. 4 divided by 9, 0.4 recurring. 3 divided by 5, 0.6. 5 divided by 8, 0.625. 2 divided by 3 was 0.6 recurring. 4 divided by 9 is 0.4 recurring. And 3 divided by 5 is 0.6. So starting with the smallest fraction, we're looking at the first digit, they are all zeros. The second digit, we've got 6, 6, 4, and 6. So this would be the smallest fraction. Then we're going to look at the third digit. So go back again with these 3 that we have left. First digit, they are all zeros. Second digit, they are all 6s. The third digit, we've got a 2, a 6, and a nothing, so a 0 here. So this would be the second smallest. Then I'm left with these 2. First digit, 0 and a 0. Second digit, 6 and 6. Third digit, 2 and 6. So this would be the next smallest, and this would be the largest fraction. And then you would write that down in you write the fractions down because you've got more room to write the fractions down in this answer line. So the first one was 4/9, so I've written them in order, and you should do so as well so that you don't get confused. So number 1 is 4/9, that's the third number here. Number 2 is 3/5, that's the last number there. Number 3 is 5/8. And then the last one is 2/3.